Shalom, called Halimla, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone who rule and teach well, and to the brothers in the hopeful lake is pushing this truth. Shalom. Now it's just diving into the recent news about Russia preparing war against the West, and this is just an article that's reinstating Russia, specifically Putin's claims. Read the title: Russia calls up 300,000 reservists, says 6,000 soldiers killed in Ukraine. London, September 21st. Russia will draft 300,000 reservists to support its military campaign in Ukraine. Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu said on Wednesday in televised remarks. In Moscow's first update on casualty numbers in almost 6 months, Shoigu said just about 6,000 Russian soldiers have been killed since the start of the conflict. So Russia is starting to speed up, and I've seen videos of the whole entire country, pretty much all of Russia is if you're a man eligible for war, you cannot leave the country. The country is turning into a war country. They're preparing for war. Their economy is being transitioned to a war economy because Russia is coming for Babylon the Great and all of Babylon the Great's allies. And as we know through the scriptures, the majority of the Babylonians' allies are going to turn on them and launch nukes. The only people that are going to be aligned with Babylon the Great is the Israelis, and the land of Israel will also be nuked too, wiped clean, because it's polluted by these Edomites. Ezekiel chapter 36 and Isaiah 34. Babylon the Great, which is United States of America, and the land of Israel, which is inhabited by the Edomites, pursuant to again Ezekiel 36 and Revelation chapter 2, Revelation chapter 3, they're going to be wiped out. And that's the only allies Babylon the Great is going to have. Everybody else, right, the EU, NATO, right, UN, is going to turn on the US. Germany's already midway there, you could say already. Great Britain, Ireland, whatever, they're going to all turn on the United States. The beast shall hate the whore, roughly paraphrasing in Revelations. And Russia is starting to buck up against the U.S. pursuant to Ezekiel. Let's get it. I know it's Ezekiel. I think it's Ezekiel. Let's try 35th chapter. Ezekiel 38 is that 38th chapter. Ezekiel 38 from the top. Prophecy about Gog and future invasion of Israel. Yeah, the Gog and Magog is Japheth's land, which is parts of Europe and Asia, which Esau has taken over, and that's how they got the title as the Greeks, Romans. All right, they're not Japhetic people. They're the Edomites. They're the only people that fit the prophecy of the Edomites, pursuant to, Job, not chapter 9, the book of Obadiah. What was it? Genesis, somewhere in the 20th chapter. Daniel, I believe, chapter 7 or chapter. Let's just get it real quick. Job chapter 30 as well connects what I'm finna get. That connects with what I'm finna get right here. Job chapter 30, which goes into Edomites. Daniel chapter 4 and 17. All right, I'm just going to skip down. The Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will. So rulership over men, which is automatically rulership over the planet Earth. Whomsoever he will, and set it up over the bases of men. The bases of men is the most inferior creature on the planet Earth. Job chapter 30, which are the Edomites, and the Esau and Jacob were the only two people given rulership over the planet Earth. Esau means wasted away because he was born without any melanin. Throughout the scriptures, that's leprosy, and he was given a great sword to conquer and control the earth for a time being in the name of wickedness. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, Habakkuk chapter 2, John chapter 10, verse 10. You Edomites only come to steal, kill, destroy, rape, pillage, all right, lie, and it's coming back on you. And truth is coming back on you on the right hand side. This is another article right here. Putin escalates Ukraine war, issues nuclear threat to the West. So Russia, and let's go back to Ezekiel 38. From the top, verse 1. And the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog. All right, that's why it's talking about the land, because you Edomites are the Russians, which are a different tribe of Esau. They're in that land, and they're gonna go against pretty much their own brethren. Satan against Satan, kingdom against kingdom, roughly paraphrasing. And they're gonna nuke Babylon the Great and the land of Israel. Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him, and say, Thus said the Lord Yahweh, Behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and I will turn thee back, and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth and all thine army, horses and horsemen. And turning them back is getting Russia back into that USSR, that Soviet spirit during the Cold War, or right around that era. After that Cold War, Russia didn't chill down a little bit. You know, they wasn't as aggressive with their actions. And now, as we see now, they're turning back up, because this is prophecy. All of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Persia, Ethiopia, Libya with them, all of them with shields and helmet. Gomer and all his bands, in the house of Togarmah, and all the north quarters, and all his bands, many people with thee. And we see Russia right now giving all these heathen nations weapons and training and all this, because Russia is getting them prepared for World War III. And all be thou prepared, and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou guard unto them, because Russia right now is, in terms of military power, they're in terms of military power, they're the strongest military on the planet Earth, because they have the most nuclear weapons and the best nuclear weapons. Babylon the Great overall is a more powerful military, because they have land, sea, air, whatever, right? But in terms of just straight sheer power, is Russia, because they have the most nuclear weapons and the greatest nuclear weapons. And they're being a guard to these lower level heathen nations that don't have as much nuclear and just military capabilities as Russia, and Russia's helping them out again to prepare for Armageddon. All right. After many days thou shalt be visited. In the latter years thou shalt come into the land that is brought back from the sword, and is gathered out of many people against the mountains of Israel, which have been always waste, but is brought forth out of the nations, and they shall dwell safely, all of them. Thou shalt ascend and come like a storm. Thou shalt be like a cloud to cover the land, thou and all thy bands, and many people with thee. So the land of Israel And Babylon the Great is going to be invaded by Russia and all the nations that are under Russia's banner. Thou shalt ascend and come like a storm. Thou shalt be like a cloud to cover the land, thou and all thy bands, and many people with thee. Thus said Yahweh thy power. It shall also come to pass that at the same time shall things come to thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought. And yeah, man, these nukes being let off is going to literally wipe out countries, not just cities, countries and continents. And thou shalt think an evil thought. And thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages. This is talking about Babylon the Great. I will go to them that are at rest, that dwell safely, all of them dwelling without walls and have neither bars nor gates. And Babylon the Great doesn't have no bars and gates between the different cities. All right, you have the little petty border um along with California, Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas. All right, but that's petty. You have no other borders around Babylon the Great. There's no borders in Florida. There's no borders with Canada, so on and so forth. There's no borders in between the different states and cities. To take a spoil and to take a prey, to turn thine hand upon the desolate places that are now inhabited, and unto the people that are gathered out of the nations, which have gotten cattle and goods that dwell in the midst of the land. So Babylon the Great was desolate. Gad and Reuben wasn't inhabiting all of North America. Some of them were nomadic. They didn't build up how you see it now. Esau came through, cut down all the trees, built up the cities, laid down concrete, made the highways, so on and so forth. And out of the nations, there's plenty of other nations, other heathens that came over here to Babylon the Great and got rich off of Babylon the Great. All right, you got China, Russia with their oil. All these other heathens come in, get a business loan. Elam, Ishmael get these gas stations. Verse 13, Sheba and Dedan and the merchants of Tarish with all the young lions thereof shall say unto thee, Art thou come to take a spoil? Hast thou gathered thy company to take a prey, to carry away silver and gold, to take away cattle and goods, and to take a great spoil? Therefore, son of man, prophesy and say unto Gog, Thus said Yahweh thy power, in the day when my people of Israel dwell safely, shalt thou not know it? So when Russia starts invading Babylon the Great and all these and wherever else they attack, the elect in those lands will be protected. They won't be slaughtered and gunned down by these heathens and these Edomites, man. Verse 15, and thou shalt come from thy place out of the north parts, thou and many people with thee, all of them riding upon horses, a great company and a mighty army. And thou shalt come up against my people of Israel, and the majority of the Israelites are in Babylon the Great. And you do have obviously the Israelites scattered into all nations. Even those Israelis have Israelites among them, as a cloud to cover the land. And it shall be in the latter days, and I will bring thee against my land. So Yahweh is different. Salaki, I don't know, can't pronounce the word. Different. What's a synonym for that word, man? Because I can't pronounce that word. He put a difference, all right? Yahweh, right here, as you can see, he's going to come against the Israelites, these Edomites, Russia, and they'll come against the land of Israel. Why did it separate the two? Because the Israelites aren't in the land. Once the Israelites get back to their land, it won't be no more war. They won't be no type of invasion. Pursuant to what? Isaiah the 2nd chapter, Isaiah the 60th chapter, Isaiah the 14th chapter, Revelations, I believe, 21 or Revelations 22, or both of them. Let's continue. And I will bring thee against my land, and that the heathen may know me. Right. Joel chapter 2, Joel chapter 3. When I shall be sanctified in thee, O Gog, before their eyes. Thus said Yahweh thy power, art thou he of whom I have spoken in old time by my servants the prophets of Israel, which prophesied in those days many years that I will bring thee against them. And it shall come to pass at the same time when God shall come against the land of Israel, saith Yahweh thy power, that my fury shall come up in my face. For in my jealousy and in the fire of my wrath have I spoken. Surely in that day there shall be a great shaking in the land of Israel. That's going into them nukes. Nukes are gonna fly and land and obliterate the land of Israel, because you got these Edomites in there with their detestable things, their idols, their wickedness, man. You got, what is the rabbi? What is it? I forgot what it's called, man. When they suck the foreskin off the baby's penis, man, that's pure wickedness. So that verse 20, so that the fishes of the sea and the fowls of the heavens of the heaven and the beasts of the field and all the creepy things that creep upon the earth and all the men that are upon the face of earth shall shake at my presence, and the mountains shall be thrown down, and the steep places shall fall, and every wall shall fall to the ground. That's them nukes, man. That roughly paraphrasing, the earth shall melt as in like an oven, or along those lines. Isaiah the 34th chapter, Ezekiel 36, and many, many more. And I'm going to go to Jeremiah 50 after this, and touch up on a little bit more. And shall shake at my presence, and the mountains shall be thrown down, and the steep places shall fall, and every wall shall fall to the ground. And I will call for a sword against him throughout all my mountains, saith Yahweh thy power. Every man's sword shall be against his brother. And I will plead against him with pestilence and with blood, and I will rain upon him, and upon his bands, and upon the many people that are with him, and overflowing rain and great hailstones, fire and brimstone. Thus will I magnify myself and sanctify myself, and I will be known in the eyes of many nations, and they shall know that I am Yahweh. So let's get Jeremiah the 50th chapter. But first, let's hit this article again. Let's read down. London, September 21st. President Vladimir Putin on Wednesday ordered Russia's first mobilization since World War II and backed a plan to annex swaths of Ukraine, warning the West that he was not bluffing when he said he'd be ready to use nuclear weapons to defend Russia. In the biggest escalation of the Ukraine war since Moscow's February 24th invasion, Putin explicitly raised the specter of a nuclear conflict, approved a plan to annex a chunk of Ukraine the size of Hungary, and called up 300,000 reservists. So if anybody gets in the way, he's going to drop they got them nukes on standby, man. And it's going to be nuclear conflict. It's confirmed through these scriptures. If the territorial integrity of our country is threatened, we will without doubt use all available means to protect Russia and our people. This is not a bluff, Putin said in a televised address to the nation. So he's not bluffing. These scriptures proves that Russia is not bluffing. They about that business. They about that action, man. They about that action. They really gonna use those nukes. They gonna use all their nukes. In fact, according to the scriptures, if the already read that, citing NATO's expansion towards the Russia borders, Putin said the West was plotting to destroy his country, engaging in nuclear blackmail by allegedly discussing the potential use of nuclear weapons against Moscow, and accused the U.S., the EU, and Britain, because he had Brexit, where Britain left the EU, of encouraging Ukraine to push military operations into Russia itself. And yeah, the rest of these Edomites know that Russia is a threat to their rulership. In its aggressive anti-Russian policy, the West has crossed every line, Putin said. This is not a bluff. And those who try to blackmail us with nuclear weapons should know that the weather vane can turn and point towards them. And Russia got the most powerful and the most nukes on the planet Earth. So Russia's saying right here, right now, Wednesday, which was like a day or two ago, that they about that action, man. They really about that action. It is pursuant to this prophecy right here as well. Jeremiah 50th, and I believe it was either Putin or somebody in Russia was quoting Revelations, I think the 12th chapter or 18th chapter. I forget. Let's get that before we get Jeremiah 50. I think it was the 18th, something like that, in the teens. Let me see. The beast. I think it was going to the beast. Uh, yeah, I think it's the 18th chapter. Let me see. Revelations 18 and 8. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is Yahweh thy power who judgeth her, man. And that fire is them nuclear missiles. Let's go back to Jeremiah 50. I don't think it was Revelations 18 though, but that connects. That lines up with what's gonna happen to the US. Let's get the 16th chapter. Let's check it out. Yeah, man. Revelation 18, Revelation the 18th chapter was a good point anyways. Let's go back to Jeremiah 50. Jeremiah 50th chapter. Scroll down a little bit. Jeremiah 50 and 11. Because ye were glad, because ye rejoiced. Actually, let me start at 9. For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country. Lining back up with what was it? Ezekiel the 38th chapter. And they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence shall she be taken. Their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert. None shall return in vain. So once them nuclear weapons are launched from their silos and wherever else they're being launched from, the Poseidon from the nuclear submarines, all right. Once they're launched, they gonna aim because they're gonna be powered by Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, man. Yahweh's gonna have his spirit on the missiles. Literally, he's gonna have his spirit on the missiles, so they 100% accuracy, man, on the land of Israel and United States of America. And yes, through these scriptures, United States of America will be invaded. You already got Russia, China, Iran in Central South America. Why they in Central South America? These scriptures say Babylon the Great will be invaded. You gonna have Russian troops, Chinese troops, Hamite troops, man, Ishmaelite troops, just running through Babylon the Great, slaughtering you niggas, you Edomites. Y'all gonna get slaughtered. You patriots, man. Y'all ain't got shit on these militaries. They wearing bulletproof armor. What are you gonna do against bulletproof armor? You gonna be like an idiot just unloading on a bulletproof armor, just hoping it work, man. Desperate attempt. Verse 11. Because ye were glad, because ye rejoiced, O ye destroyers of mine heritage, the Edomites. Psalms 137. The Edomites control Babylon the Great. Because ye are grown fat as the heifer at grass and bellow as bulls. You Edomites pretty much got rulership under the guise of being the Israelites and having our heritage, man. You got the whole earth, which was a part of your blessing anyways through the sword that Isaac gave to Esau. Your mother shall be sore confounded. She that bare you shall be ashamed. And that's going into Great Britain. Behold, the hindermost of the nations shall be a wilderness, a dry land, and a desert. Because of the wrath of Yahweh, I shall not be inhabited. It shall not be inhabited. but it shall be wholly desolate. Every one that goeth by Babylon shall be astonished and hiss at all her plagues. Put yourselves in array against Babylon round about, all ye that bend the bow. Shoot at her, spare no arrows, for she hath sinned against Yahweh. And that goes into these nuclear missiles. Let's get 2nd Esdras, 16th chapter. Verse 1. Woe be unto thee, Babylon and Asia, and woe be unto thee, Egypt and Syria. Now, Asia is from pretty much the land of Israel, so right by Egypt, all the way to like what, China or whatever, or Russia. That's all of Asia. Not just China and Japan. No, man. The quote unquote Middle East, that's Asia. Let me scroll down. Because Asia will be nuked, because the land of Israel is in Asia, and it will be nuked, and Babylon the Great will be nuked. 2nd Ezra chapter 16, verse 12. The earth quaketh, and the foundation thereof, the sea ariseth up with waves from the deep, and the waves of it are troubled, and the fishes there also, before Yahweh, and before the glory of his power. For strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow. His arrows that he shooteth are sharp, and shall not miss, when they begin to be shot into the ends of the earth. ICBM missiles, intercontinental ballistic missiles. That's what this is going into. Russia and all the other nations that got nuclear missiles is going to have them aimed right at Babylon the Great. And I'm in this off right here. Shalom.